Hello. I'm now going to talk you through some ways of presenting your evidence. But before we do that, I want to backtrack to our last video, where at the end of that I directed you to our printable resource. And this is because you need to be very aware of how to identify the main key point in the passages of academic writing in order to be able to evidence your research. So the two things go sort of hand in hand, academic reading and academic writing. So if you're worried about this, if you're reading academic texts and thinking, well, I'm not quite sure how to draw out some evidence here, there are some useful resources, and they're the same ones as the ones I've directed you to in the printable resource. One is the Royal Literary Fund, which gives you a kind of framework for unpicking key points, SQ3R, and that's been going for quite a long time, that framework. And there are some exercises in higher education sites as well. So two links there. Again, here I'm going to put them underneath the video. So if you're concerned about that, do feel free to go and look at those. Now, let's say you've identified your main point, you've looked at your research source, you've found that it's kind of quite useful, it's not too biased, it's going to be useful to use within the body of your writing. Now, there are two ways that you can show and demonstrate your research, and that's through using paraphrase or quotation. And first of all, we're going to look at paraphrasing. So paraphrasing is rewriting, summarising, key ideas from the text that are relevant to your subject. And we've got an example here. So we've got a little bit of text here. Alice is by no means the first artist to present a living animal as a work of art. Mark Wallinger's A Real Work of Art, see page 12, for example, is a racehorse and has run in competition. Its name is not intended as metaphor. It is literally a work of art. It is a real racehorse that has raced as well as a real work of art. That's the extract from the text. That's the art question. And we've identified the key point, which is that the book by Nigel Warburton discusses contemporary art that takes unusual forms, such as Wallinger's racehorse. So the key point from the text has been identified, has been written up in your own words, and it is thoroughly referenced. It's very important you reference your paraphrase material. And I'm not going to go on about that at great length here, but when you come to the referencing module, you'll discover precisely why. Warburton, 2003, discusses contemporary art that takes unusual forms, such as Wallinger's racehorse. So, extract from text, point has been identified, it's been written in your own words, and it's been referenced. That's a paraphrase. Now a quotation. With a quotation, you copy out the text, so you do cut and paste it, but you format it in quotation marks, and again, you always reference where it's come from. So same extract from the text, but you can see here a little bit of the essay. Of course, non-traditional works of art take many different forms. In discussing Wallinger's work, Warburton states, and then you've got the quotation, and this is laid out with a space before and a space below. Its name is not intended as metaphor, it is literally a work of art. So you've got your quotation marks there to show that it's a block quotation and a full reference within the text. So quickly, just to go over it again, if you're going to paraphrase, you summarise your material, you do not need to lay that out in quotation marks. But if you're directly copying the material over, directly quoting, you need to lay it out in quotation marks with a full reference. And if you look at the printable resource, you'll find more information there as well. So, if you want some extra information, there's again an excellent resource from the Royal Literary Fund, and also Purdue's OWL. We will cover referencing in much more detail in another module, but the key things I'd like you to take from this is that when you're researching, you need to take a note of the information you found and where you found it. You need to think about how you're going to present that information. You need to evaluate your source for bias and make sure you read some nice solid key texts. And most of all, I'd like you to enjoy it. Research is a journey. We started off talking about question trails, and really that's what research is. It's about finding out the answer to questions. And the questions here are very interesting ones, and I really hope you enjoy researching. Thank you very much. Bye bye.